Hi guys, it's Aegis here. Today I'm going to do a little bit updates on the channel because of some current situation happening, and I also want to talk about Zazan here. So let's talk about the channel. Um, so as I'm living in Hong Kong right now, and the virus thing is getting a little bit more crazy here. So we are having some limitations again on going out, and a lot of shops are now uh, trying not to hold tournaments, hold events, so it's not a good time to go out and play, which means I probably can't go out and make fight videos recently. The limitations say they are going to be active for 7 days and see how things goes. So we will see. But of course, I do have some stocks on premium collection fights, uh, premium of course, and then still some BTO8 related decks fights, and of course I will still be doing deck profiles on different builds. I still haven't uploaded Link Joker profile yet, which is on the way, and I do have some other DP builds involving black that is not Gallop, so you can also stay tuned for that if you're looking forward to that. And I still got some premium deck profiles that is still on the way, so you will be seeing those very soon as well, depending on how I schedule the stuff, but they are there. So content wise it won't be affected on amount, but then the actual content will, I think it's still great, but it's just that I can't actually, like previous weeks, to showcase some matches that involving the exact deck build that I am showing you in my deck profiles. But hopefully things will go better and I can show you guys those stuff. And of course we are going to have new sets coming in 2 weeks, so I will also see how I will get affected on that as well. But hopefully I can still get it cracking on time, even just take the whole case back home to do it. Like sometimes when I am only the person who play all clans, then yeah, if that happens, then let it be. So let's talk about Zazan right here. We finally have the judgment for Bushiro that Zazan is not limiting to one. So there's a few different ways to look about this. First, it is good that Bushiro do it very quickly, because the set is released for about 2 months or maybe a little bit more, or almost 2 months, around that, and they have at least reacted, and it's not in a bad way. Like Erector, so it's still some kind of crazy, limiting to 2, so it's like nothing, because it's not like the end that you need to personalize. When you're limited to 2, you can only use 1, so you can never get there. I mean the ODN of course, because the sand, as long as you have 1, you can still do the whole thing, but just that you are now from 4 that you have a high chance to get this as in your opening hand, or like through Madigan. Now it becomes very hard. So glad that Bushiro act very fast. Of course we don't see any other limitations, but that's okay. And of course, thanks to the English community, they are like the biggest voice, with like Zolin Vanguard putting the hashtag Zazan to 0. Of course I use that as well. I make a video about that as well. A lot of Vanguard content creators put their thoughts on video, emailing Bushiro, providing data, match data, maybe even like fight videos to show how those crazy combo is. making deck profiles to tell you how crazy this situation is with Zazan. All those efforts, at least we are seeing something here, is limited to 1 now. So thanks again for the community, you do the right thing, and we make Bushiro to X, and at least we put Zazan to 1. On the other hand, it said that it's not limited to 0 and it is still 1. So of course there's people already talking about that on Twitter. That is 2 different things. So it's good that Bushiro adding it very quickly, and I'm grateful, I'm happy that they listen to us, but at the same time I do really want it to be 0, not 1. So this is 2 different things. By limiting it to 1, yes, now you probably won't consider building a deck with Zazan, because you only can use 1 instead of like old times you can have 4, and now you just need to put a lot more vanilla cards probably, because if you have too many effect cards, even if you draw Zazan, you can't still use the effects. So this should help making the tournament environment a little bit more healthier. So hopefully it helps. I can't tell until we see actual tournament results. But with 1 Zazan, we can see how creative Vanguard players is, so they might find a way to, even with 1 Zazan, they can still do something, or they just adjust the deck so that if I don't draw into Zazan through first hand mulligan, then I can just play a normal game, and when I get Zazan, things go mad. That can happen because you have so many ways to find Zazan. For example, you have Mega Trainer, you have Conroll to simply just pick a Zazan from your deck. Of course, you need Counter Blast 1, and your opponent can just damage deny you. That's something. And for vanilla decks, you still have Tempest Sphere, so yeah, of course your opponents can still damage deny you, but you can still do it that way. But we can see, because if your opponent doesn't know what your deck is, they might just attack you, so that will affect how Zazan related deck builds. They might actually put more effect units in there, so they can hide out and say, oh, it's a normal deck, and they suddenly play as Zazan, then play the vanillas. As long as they take 1 damage, then they can do a whole lot of things, maybe, but we don't know. So it's good. Again, push your alley, quick thank you. It's limited to 1. Can do better, let's say that, but at least they do something. Then let's also talk about the reasons that Bushiro give us, or the Vanguard development team give us, relating to the limitations. So I will show it here. It's in Japanese. If you can read, of course, that's great. If not, I'm going to try to translate it here so you can understand what's going on. So to adding this limitation is because of one of the points, which is there are some actions with the card that when they are inventing it, they didn't intentionally make that to happen, and this kind of situation is complicated and making people unhappy. So they are adding these limitations, and they put Zazan into 1, which, because Zazan, when comboing with specific card, let's say Gear Chronicle, when they are going second the first turn, like including starting from the first turn when they are going second, they can be extremely fast in turns to do more than 10 attacks, making this possible. So I think Gear Chronicle timing Zazan can do that. I haven't actually seen the deck, but I heard it's crazy. Of course, there's so many other things, like Pale Moon, of course, you need to reach Great Freeze, but you can probably do more than 10 attacks if you plan it well. So this kind of way of using Zazan is some ways that when the team inventing the cards they have never thought of. So a point there. And this way of using Zazan is making the fight extremely unhealthy, putting into this kind of situation. And since I think a lot of people providing them data and stuff, so they make this kind of decision and put Zazan into one. So that's all that they are going to say. So like, yeah, when we make the card, we didn't thought of the time leap. Zazan is possible. The Pale Moon loop is possible. They might think of Calico maybe, because the focus is on more than 10 attacks here. So what I can think of is Pale Moon and Gear Chronicle. But of course, there's so many other builds. So this is I hope this makes Wuxia learn some lesson when designing cards. Of course, I'm not completely blaming them because they do make a lot of interesting cards, and sometimes different card game developers will have this kind of situation that they created a card but they never thought of the stuff, especially with Cray Elementals, because with different clans, at least they are doing their own thing, and the worst situation is the whole tournament will be the single clan, but at least you know that clan is doing great. But with Zazan, it's just different clans, different builds of Zazan, because Zazan is a great elemental and can be used in every single clan. So this will actually makes a lot of clans losing their identity when using Zazan, even though they can win you games, but what's the point of having clans, right? So I do hope this kind of situation is not happening again, and maybe when more tournament results comes out, when people still using Zazan in top, then Bushido will really consider to put Zazan into 0, maybe, but we will have to see. But so far, since I'm not evolving in like competitive environment for quite a while in Hong Kong, we don't have a lot of players playing premium. My friends do love premium, but they don't play tournaments, so it's a different area of players. But we always enjoy playing premium without Zazan, that we have so many different combos. For example, Nova, we can just use Busted to do so many crazy drive check and attacks restand. With Gallop, we like last week we just did a very fast game. You suddenly just go like standard and crit, suddenly take 4 or 5 damages and win the game. Making X Gallop restand so fast, all sort of things. It's so fun. So we do hope to see premium become more interesting, more creative, evolving more clans, doing their own things, so we can have fun with Vanguard, use our G units. That's why premium is here, right? Yeah, so I think that's all I need to say about here. Do let me know your comments on Zazan's limitations. Do you feel it's good? Do you feel it's bad? Do you like me and most people, or few people that already expressed their opinions online, that it's good that push your edit quick, but it's not good that they're only limiting to one? Or you have some other thoughts that you want to share? Do put them in the comments below, and of course I will check them out. So thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you guys in the next video. Signing off.